how do I determine what my company culture should be?
If you're a sole entrepreneur and you start a company, then it's the easiest path forward, which is you basically evaluate your personal values. Why you're doing what you're doing. And I'm not talking about motherhood and apple pie values. I'm talking about values
Hmm.
that have to do
Hmm.
with what you're doing. What are you in it for? What's your why? What's the so what? Why are you doing this? What are you trying to achieve? And how are you trying to be different? And find out what your personal values are on
Hmm.
that. And then you can turn these to say, if my value is this, how would somebody with these values be different in this industry or in this marketplace?
Yeah.
And then go for that and signal it. For example, Art Sioka said that he is absolutely appalled by the short-termism or the short-termism by the industry as he knew it in retail and at the time. And so he says we absolutely want to go long term. I only want people who are interested in the long term of of their success. So
Hmm.
he developed a plan. Their team developed a plan where anybody joining the company is not going to make any kind of major windfall or earnings out of the company before 10, 15 years. He took away
Oh,
all
okay. Yeah.
sales incentives. There's no, imagine this. You say, I think, so Art would say, sales incentives are actually lead to unsatisfied customers because you're pushing products on them. What we should do is create a pull in the market and have the customers like the product. Then you don't have to push it on them. How
Hmm.
do you do this? Take away sales incentives. So he created an entire company, and this is revolutionizing. He made an entire company that had no sales incentives, yet everybody else in the industry had sales incentives. I told
Wow.
him, "That's crazy. There's going to be some of the best salespeople who are not going to join you." And he'd say, "I don't want those salespeople. I want the
Yeah.
salespeople who are attracted to what I'm trying to do." See, now you're talking about company values, where you're attracting people who want exactly what you want, and and that creates teams that become a competitive advantage. So that's the first thing. If you're just a company, if you're a startup guy, that's very simple. Maybe you come into a company and you're hired as the CEO, or you buying a company and you come in new, or you're just in management and you're trying to see what the values are. Then you can go slightly backwards. You can talk to everybody around and say, what are we standing for? Like, you already have a corporate identity in a sense, and then sort of figure out what values are critical to that vision that we have of ourselves, and work backwards in a way from what has already agreed on, work backwards and maybe even get customers involved and say, how do you see us be different? And then lean into those things that differentiate us as a company. Of course, you want to do this even as a startup entrepreneur. You want to do this as a team, but nonetheless, you're going to do this and it's going to repel some and attract others. If it doesn't, the values are motherhood and apple pie. Nobody's going
Hmm.
to disagree. We need values that set us apart, that give people a why, that they put in the extra effort, and that makes them flourish.